Let me take a look at these topics. Ooh, state of play. The Switch is too kitty. Eh, you can make that argument. Bonnie Ross is resigning from Microsoft. Okay. I don't know who Bonnie Ross is. Is that the
He used to
is
have
that the
343 Studios.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, you know why she probably got tired of trying to hold it together that bullshit ass company.
Yeah.
Because 343, everyone keeps on like I remember for years when Bungie left Microsoft and they went independent, and everyone was like, well, half the studio left, and Bungie, Bungie. It's like, yeah, but Destiny 1 and 2 still did relatively well. Yeah, people were mad, but people still enjoyed playing those games.
Yeah.
Name a Halo game that has come out under 343 that has been as good as the original three.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
Exactly.
wait. Yeah, exactly. Halo 4 was Halo 4. They should have, like, when Halo 3 happened, they should have started a new trilogy with new characters, new playable characters. Yeah, it would have been people would have been mad at first, but if the gameplay was solid, people would have went with it. Nah, we're not gonna do that. Then they did Halo 5 where they turned Cortana into the villain. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Um, and it's Halo Infinite, which is not good either, apparently. Like, there's just a lot of, like, okay, you made a single player game, because it's split into the multiplayer and the single player. You made a single player game, but once you beat the game, you can't go back and replay single player levels.
Sorry about that. Yeah, but yeah, we'll talk more about that when we get into it. This is Kenoshi Abominita here with another Project Console. Project
Me, Mr.
Console.
Oh, sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
oh, Project
I thought
Con.
you were finished talking.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Project Console, the hype grinder. Before we get into our topics, I'd like my panelists to introduce himself.
Hello, it's me, Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor of BS Busters. Glad to be on another one of these casts.
All right, glad to have you. So, for our first topic, Tuesday, Nintendo Direct. The Nintendo Direct happened. What are your thoughts?
It tended to focus more on more casual gameplay experiences, and like casual in terms of farming sims, and more core as in RPGs.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if you don't like, well, actually, farming sims are kind of hardcore too. It tended to focus on a more niche core fan base,
yeah. I think a
and I'm
lot of
okay
it.
with that.
I think a lot of it was because Tokyo Game Show was happening this weekend.
Yeah,
In games like Animal Crossing did did very well a couple of years ago when it came out. It came out during the lockdowns. Also, Stardew Valley was a big hit. So
yeah. And you
maybe
also
they're
have to
pushing.
remember, Animal Crossing has had a rabid niche fan base for years.
Yeah,
Like there are people who Animal Crossing comes out, and even if it's trash, like Animal Crossing, what was the one where you like moved, you just did interior decorating,
I
and
think
that
that was
did
for
well.
the Wii U. Yeah.
No, that came out for 3DS. That's the one that came with those cards.
Oh, okay.
And that
Yeah.
game, look, that game did well. So my point being is just to say this. Um, some people, there's some games that you might not be a huge fan of, but just because you don't like something doesn't mean there isn't someone who does.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
to put it in a more base term, because some people don't understand putting it as nicely as possible. Just because you don't like getting slapped during a romantic interlude doesn't mean there isn't someone who does.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that were complaining about, a lot of people I saw complaining about the direct, saying, "Oh, they didn't show enough first party content, or they didn't show any like of their AAA first party content." And the problem is that there are a lot of rumors that people bought into,
Yeah.
Contrary to if they bought into them or not, they bought into them. The Zelda HD collection, the Metroid Prime HD collection, which are rumors that have been plaguing the Switch for at least the last year or so. And it's just like, well, it's your fault for buying into them because none of this stuff was confirmed to be at the direct. So it's not.
Well, they listened to a guy who said Doctor Ned or something, some ridiculous name. Where I'm like, this dude is not someone I would listen to. So I don't know, man. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
just like I mean, it's not really Nintendo's fault that you believe things that were neither confirmed nor denied by Nintendo. Because
Yeah,
it's just
some random dude. Well, he was right this one time. It's like I don't think you understand.
like, yeah, you're gonna get all this neat stuff. It's like, okay, I don't think they. I mean, they already released, Skyward, not Skyward Sword, but Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD collection, or the HD stuff for the Wii U. And obviously they re-released Skyward Sword. I don't really see them, obviously they re-release games from the Wii U, but I don't necessarily see them re-releasing those games. They could, like near the end of the lifespan, well, it's like the last couple of games that are released for the Switch, but I don't really see it happening anytime soon. So, I don't know. Things that stood out to me were the Xenoblade Chronicles DLC, the new hero stuff, the Fire Emblem stuff looked interesting. See, obviously, the sequel to Breath of the Wild, now called Tears of the Kingdom, and I think there was some other stuff. Oh yeah, Octopath Travelers too.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Okay, like I knew they were working on a sequel. I can't believe they did Triangle Strategy first.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I thought y'all would do Breath of the Wild first, but whatever.
You mean Octopath Travelers 2 first?
Yeah, sorry. I thought they'd do Octopath Traveler 2 before they would do, uh, just immediately jump into a sequel. But, I mean, I'm glad that they waited because I would prefer them wait. I would prefer them wait and, like, really kind of, you know, really put some time and energy into making it good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So, um, there's that funny game that Fist of the North Star boxing mini game thing.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, okay, I'll take it.
But yeah, wasn't it wasn't a bad direct. Contrary to, obviously, if you're not into JRPGs or if you're not into farming simulators, you know, I get why you're disappointed. You probably wanted to, Nintendo didn't have their big summer direct. People were disappointed by that, but I don't know. It seems like when it pertaining to Nintendo versus Sony, because Sony had their state of play. It seems like Nintendo has more to play right now.
More exclusives.
More exclusive.
Because there's a lot of stuff that's just going to be on theirs. Like, you can't play Xenoblade Chronicles 3, without playing that on the Switch. Whereas almost everything Sony had is multiplats.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we can talk about the state of play if you don't have anything else to say about unless you got something to say about the direct. Anything.
I mean, I can understand why some people would be frustrated with it, but ultimately, you're not going to like everything you like. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Not everything that you see you're going to like.
Yeah.
And that's just life. That's life in general. That's the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, understand. Please understand.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, there was that PlayStation State of Play. Uh, which Sony is getting better at it. You know, they showed stuff on showed stuff at the conference that at least looked interesting to me. Um, Tekken 8. Um, there was a Yakuza game that had. There's a Yakuza game based off of. Takes place in samurai days. And then there was Stellar Blade, previously known as Project Eve. So it's not like they didn't show anything. It's just all that stuff isn't going to entice me to get a PS5 because a lot of that stuff is coming
I
to
mean,
PC as
if
well.
you can get a PS5.
I mean, yeah, if you get a PS5. Yeah.
I mean, I want a PS5, but I mean, all that shit's also coming to the PC. So, you know, if I have it on PC, then why should I get it on, you know, PS5? That's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Superfluous? Not superfluous. It's extraneous. There we go. It's extraneous.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, man, like Lost Judgment and its sequel came to PC, and you can get the bundle for like I think like $70, and it comes with like the expansion and everything like that. I'm like, well, shit. What reason do I have? What reason do I have to get a PS5 when all the stuff that's PS5 exclusive is also coming to PC?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Yeah, yep. And of course, they spent some time on their VR stuff, but
Yeah.
again, as the problem with VR is it's still, it's pretty expensive. I have yet to see a game except Half-Life Alyx that was like, yeah, that VR game looks pretty cool. I know some people that are really heavily into VR, but they and I've used PlayStation VR before, and I wasn't like, yeah, this isn't something I could wear for like a 2-3 hour gaming session.
Yeah.
People say you do get used to it after a while.
Yeah, but
it's just some more. It's just more stuff.
Yeah.
Worry about.
I'm not, like, if VR could get to the point where it was, VR could get to the point where it was very unobtrusive and didn't hurt my eyes, I'd be into it, but that's not what's going on here.
Yeah, if there are more accessibility options to the VR headset, that,
Not the accessibility, it makes me sick. It hurts my eyes.
yeah, like what I was saying, at least for me, because I don't have very good vision. Like having the VR set adapt to your vision, so you don't have to wear glasses with it, because it's kind of obnoxious to wear glasses. Wear glasses on glasses. Was there anything else that stuck out to you at the PlayStation conference? Or anything that stuck out to you?
I mean, just how some of the cool shit they had. I mean, like I said, it's not that they aren't good games coming to the PlayStation. It's just a lot of them aren't exclusive. So it's like, not to mention Sony's having a supply issue. Good luck getting a PlayStation.
Yeah.
It's like, because even if you wanted a PlayStation right now, good luck getting one. You know? I'm not going to be one of those people, oh man, Sony, I'm not going to shit on Sony just because they're Sony. What I will say is that they're not allowed to tell people what they need to do until they can actually have enough stuff, there.
Yeah.
Like, they need to get their supply up before they start telling people what they need to do.
Oh yeah, and Hogwarts. Apparently, PS5 gets an exclusive Hogwarts Legacy
An exclusive
content.
side quest?
It's exclusive side quest, which is just kind of
Stupid.
yeah. It's like, why would you drop a ton of money to get an exclusive side quest?
Because
It's
they could probably afford it.
That's,
They could afford to buy a side quest. They could not afford to get, some other stuff.
yeah, but a little worried about this game because they've delayed it at least several times. So I don't know.
I'm going to quote Shigeru Miyamoto. A delayed game might eventually become good, but a bad game, once it's released, is bad forever.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I guess the counter argument, which I don't necessarily think it's a good argument because first impressions mean a lot to people, is
Yeah!
if they can patch it later, but still, you don't want to drop $60 on a game and then and then have it be garbage, be broken out the box, out of the box. Like that's not a good first impression. You obviously didn't care about the product for it to come out somewhat polished day one.
Yeah, that first impression, it's hard to come back from that,
Yeah, just ask the people at CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah. The only company I've seen who could release absolute shit and get a pass for it is Bethesda.
Oh yeah.
Like, Bethesda has released some games where I'm like, if any other company did that, no one would be releasing this anymore. No one would be playing this. And yet, for some reason, they get a pass for it. I don't know why, but they do.
Let's see. Oh yeah, this is a bit suspicious. PlayStation Stars loyalty program. So what this is a loyalty program, kind of like My Nintendo, but instead of actually getting like plushies and figurines and stuff like that, like figurines from My Nintendo, you get like digital goodies, digital like action figures and digital statues and stuff, like 3D statues. Just like they say it's not NFT, but
It basically it's a form of it. My problem with all this is just I don't see the point.
Yeah.
Just don't see the point. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a way to keep people, a way to keep your name in people's focus.
Yeah, that's all it really is. They're just trying to stay relevant. Cause no one gives a shit. No one's talking about Sony right now. Even I mean, you think they did their live thing just because they wanted to do their live thing. They did their live thing because Nintendo had their thing.
Yeah.
And they want to steal their thunder because Nintendo's been dominating this gen.
Yeah.
And that's what that is. It's like, oh man, they've been dominating. Well, shit, we gotta do something.
Yeah.
We can't let this company just sit up here and do, whatever. They can't have it.
So, our next topic, the Switch is too kiddie. So, so apparently, I guess there were some Yakuza games that were announced, and the creators of Yakuza were asked about why they're not porting their games to the Switch, and they're like, "Well, we don't think the audience, we don't think our games are the for that audience," and I just found that kind of funny because of course, you had Bayonetta, both the Bayonetta games come out. You had Doom come out, and you also have No More Heroes games come out, and then it's just like so this whole I would have preferred they said, heck, I would have even been like, if they would have said, we just don't feel like it. Like, I would have preferred them say, look, we don't really feel like our we don't think it's financially viable to port our games to the Switch because of
they couldn't tell the truth. You know what the truth is, right?
What's that?
Truth is that Sony paid for exclusivity, and they just stuck with it.
Yeah. I just think a lot of these companies' answers when it comes to why they're not putting games on certain platforms, mainly Nintendo platforms. I just think their excuses are weak. I mean, they could come up with better excuses that are relatively acceptable, but I guess,
or maybe they just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't,
don't
like.
wanna
Here's
do
the
it.
thing, okay? I've just accepted that certain games just aren't going to come to a Nintendo console.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and bitch. Oh, I'm like, okay, they just don't want to do it. Oh well. I mean, because let's keep it real. Yakuza started on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
When they ported Yakuza over to the Wii U, they did the Yakuza duology on the Wii U in Japan. That game bombed in Japan. Now, to be fair, anyone who wants to play a Yakuza game has probably already bought a Yakuza game. You know what I mean? It's kind of disingenuous to say, well, we're going to try it on a console that's failing, and maybe this will turn it around, and we're only going to put it in Japan.
Yeah. Yeah, that
kind of didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But I didn't say anything. I was just like, you know what? They're going to do what they want to do. Okay, then. Me personally, I mean, considering how shoddily some games run on the Switch, I wouldn't necessarily want Yakuza on the Switch.
Yeah.
Because it's a beat 'em up. At least the core game, the games for a long time were beat 'em up. Now it's like an RPG, so things are a little bit different. But back in the day, it was a beat 'em up. You need good frame rate for a beat 'em up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with you. Like you said, I would have preferred we don't want to. I would accept this. We don't want to we don't want to have to our game to take the graphical hit or we don't want to have to pour in resources to develop for the Switch. I mean, I get that. So it's like I feel like it would have been better for a lot of these companies that like at the Nintendo Direct, they announced the Resident Evil games coming to the Switch, but through cloud. I was like, why even bother putting it on the Switch anyway? Why go through why do the whole cloud thing? I mean, I'd
Because they
rather
want to
play a
put
game
it.
natively.
You want to know why? I'll tell you why. Switch is the highest selling ninth gen console or gaming device. I hate to call it a console because it doesn't really fit the specialties of being a console. Okay, um, and they want to make that money, even if they only reach point zero, even if they reach 5% of the install base of the Switch. That's still 5 million in sales. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay, this shit's about money. I
Yeah,
don't know why.
I understand that, but if they really cared about money, then they would have put a lot of their games on the Wii as well as the. Because
They did.
there were ports of like I think Devil May Cry 4 and stuff that were being developed for the Wii, but they ended up shelving them for whatever reason. So it's just it. I don't know. I mean, they put a bunch of some of them put an effort, but there was a lot of shovelware they put on the Wii to help pay for their AAA games.
Yeah, that was their
There were other
dumping
ones
ground.
yeah.
Yeah, that was their dumping ground, and then they would put the good shit. Well, I'm using good shit in quotation marks because really, it wasn't the good shit because a lot of those AAA games that came out, a lot of those HD games that came out on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. Yeah, they had HD textures, but the frame rates were dipping down into the 20s and 10s and teens while you were playing the damn game. So, I'm not going to say, oh my god, it had to be. It's like, no.
Yeah.
People need to understand that and stop being all, um, people need to understand that, um, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
I know that's hard for some people to get. They wanna get mad and be like, oh. It's like, look, okay, it's always been that way. It's always been that way. And if you can't understand that, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
If you're a Nintendo gamer, get used to getting sloppy seconds or even thirds.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Like, oh, they did the bare minimum. Oh, okay. This must be I must be a Nintendo gamer. Because that's what they do. The bare minimum.
And they also sorry. Is there anything else you'd like to say about this before
About
we move on
the kiddiness of the Wii. I mean of the Switch.
Yeah.
I mean that's just a standard. I mean, look, okay. If Sega hadn't put the if Sega hadn't put the what's it called? If they hadn't put the PS, I mean, if they hadn't put Yakuza 1 and 2 on the Switch, I mean, not the Switch, on the Wii U, I'd say, hey, there's no reason for that. But they tried. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
And Sega is not like Sega is not what they used to be. All right, they are not like they can't be just putting shit out like they used to.
Yeah.
And I love Sega. Sega is one of my favorite Sega is one of my favorite. They made I don't like their mainline stuff like Sonic the Hedgehog, but a lot of their RPGs they published and like niche games they came out with. I love that some of the games Sega's published.
Yeah.
And yet those games didn't do all that well. You know? Or, they didn't do Game Busters. So, I mean, I don't think a company should go bankrupt putting games on consoles that they think they're going to lose money on.
No. I just wish there'd be.
Just be honest, but they can't because, like, here's the thing.
Burn any bridges.
Exactly. You got it. This shit's about money, okay? And they ain't trying to burn a lot of bridges. And I can't blame them. Some people, so I'm like, I'm not going to get mad at them because they don't want to mess up their money.
Yeah.
Only a fool messes up their money, all right?
Yeah. In any case, so some other big news that came out this week. Bonnie Ross, head of 343 Studios, I believe she's, the president of that company. She resigned for quote unquote family health reasons. She had some family stuff she had to attend to. She resigned from 343, which are the developers that took over. It's like half of Bungie that took over for Halo after, Bungie left and became free agents. So she resigned, which I know people are like, yeah, things are gonna change, things are gonna get better, I mean, and honestly, maybe they possibly could because they are splitting up her job in the
duties.
In the 3 different duties. Because she was actually doing a lot, looking over all the Halo stuff, like the games, the television show, and there was something else. I can't remember, but yeah. So, one commentator I came across talked about how she actually might be. They were speculating that she actually might be getting fired, and that this is just an excuse because they just want that's just how they.
That's how they spin it. It's like you can go out on your terms, or we can get rid of you.
Yeah.
Basically, like kind of like how John Matrick. No, I'm going to Zynga. Zynga, yeah, I'm going to Zynga. No, they fired your ass.
Yeah. I mean, it's a possibility. I know Halo has not been doing particularly well. There is Halo 4 and 5, which weren't particularly the most well received, and then there was the Halo Master Chief Collection that came out busted on the Xbox.
Yeah, how they messed that up. I was like, how do you mess up something as simple as that? B343 Studios.
and then there's Halo Infinite, in which people are not happy with how they've been treating the online game, because the biggest component to Halo is the multiplayer. So yeah, it's maybe under new leadership things will start to turn around. You're not gonna see it. Not gonna see it right away, but you don't think things are gonna turn around.
No, because the core. Here's the thing: the problem with Halo Infinite is integral to how it was made. Unless they go and rebuild that game from the ground up, and considering how large that game is, no.
Yeah.
No, you would have to build that game from the ground up. The central conceit, it's like Fallout 4. Fallout 4, you can mod Fallout 4 and Skyrim as much as you want, but the core design of the games is fundamentally flawed. So unless you were to rebuild those games from the ground up, you're not going to fix the underlying issues. It's like, if you build a house and the foundation is fucked up, the only way you can fix that is tearing down the entire house and starting and rebuilding the foundation. And no one's going to do that. Like, a house is easy to build compared to a video game.
Yeah.
Because a house, if you change a wall in a house, if the foundation is solid, you only had to change that wall, maybe a little bit around the wall. If you code something wrong in a video game, it can fuck up everything else. Like, imagine if you changed a light bulb in one room of your house and every other light bulb in your house was fucked because you changed that one light bulb.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
coding.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's like they're not going to do that. They can have a new president of 343. It's not going to change that. You're not going to see the results of it for at least 3 or 4 for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while before you see any results, but yeah, uh man, for me it's kind of. I mean, I've never been super huge into Halo. I did play a lot of Halo 3 back in high school because that's just, I
That was
felt.
what you guys did.
Yeah,
That was
that's
the
just what.
style.
Yeah, that's what everybody was doing at the time. So I was able to hang out with people. Um, but other than that, I hope things get better because obviously it's not cheap to make a video game. And I don't even think that game was necessarily, at least the multiplayer part of it, was designed necessarily to be free to play. So they had to strip a lot of things out and retool things to better fit a free to play design, so they can make money off of it as a service. That's just speculation. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I think Microsoft sprung that on them because they were like, "Shit, we need something. We need a big game to launch with the Xbox 360." And the reason the 360 is doing well right now um, is only because Sony fucked up, as they are wont to do because it's Sony and Sony likes fucking up. I mean, let's keep it real. That's what Sony does. They fuck up. That's their mo. Just like right now, Nintendo is doing well with the Switch, but I guarantee you that they will probably fuck up with their next gaming device because they're getting too complacent with the Switch.
Yeah.
Because these things happen in cycles.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. But is there any free topic you'd like to bring up before we call it a show?
You have a free topic. It's a hot take.
What's that?
My hot take is this. I am tired of people always saying that, well, this game right here, we'll fix it. They'll fix it later. Let me tell you something. All right, let me keep it 100%. Okay. If you don't have your shit together when that game launches, just delay it.
Yeah.
Don't say you'll fix it later with mods.
Yeah, because a lot of these games are multiplats. They come out on consoles, and with consoles, you don't have the opportunity to use mods to fix the game. You're pretty much stuck with whatever they give you until they patch it. So, yeah,
So they're like, oh, we'll fix it later. It's like, why didn't you just delay the shit? Like, so many games that have come out over the last few years. Like, if Marvel's Avengers had been delayed another year, they could have really polished that game up and had enough content for it to launch that they could have had it coming out regularly. If Cyberpunk 2077 had another year, it could have came out and it would have been amazing.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Um, obviously for Cyberpunk, it probably need another like 3 to 6 months. Um, by what I've heard, it probably need possibly another year by all the mistakes that they made pertaining to obviously the typical falling through the world and collision detection and texture. Uh,
You know,
but there's
Cyberpunk
also
we're talking about, right?
Yeah, there's also AI problems.
Yeah, that didn't bother me. Like all that, I could have forgiven all of that. What really bothered me with Cyberpunk 2077 was the sheer amount of things that should have been there just from a gameplay design standpoint that were not there.
Yeah.
Like this is supposed to be a city of the future that was designed with like, ultra involved urban planning. There is no metro in that game that you can use. There's a metro in the game, but you can't use it.
Yeah.
Now that is stupid because everyone knows that if you have a massive metropolis in the future, you need to have a way to conveniently get people. You need to have a way to conveniently get people. You need to have a convenient way to get people from point A to point B. That's just that's just generally how life works.
Yeah.
You know? That's urban planning 101 is people need to be able to get around a city in order to get from point A to point B. Nah, no metro. They had flying cars in the opening sequence. Nah, no we don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
The life paths mean absolutely fucking nothing in the game. It's just a minor opening sequence difference. Just a lot of like, man, y'all just really dropped the ball. Like, I can forgive technical issues in an open world game because open world games, you're never. It's like an MMO. You're never gonna account for everything in an MMO. You can't.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, of course, you'll fix it if one of the players come across it, but it's not like you're gonna, can account for every single solitary variable, because every once in a while people figure out a way to do things that they're not supposed to. It's just, especially when you have millions of players, millions of people, it comes like an MMO online. Same with, when you sell millions of copies of an open world game, there's people are gonna discover exploits. You saw that. So,
I mean, shit. Breath of the Wild has tons of stuff where I'm like, is that supposed to be there?
yeah, that's a good example because the way the physics engine works, people found all sorts of exploits.
So I that shit. Oh no, this is like no. Come on. But like I said, for me personally, I think you should be able. I think developers should be able to delay a game a year. I think it should be in a developer studio's contract that if a game is looking like it needs more time, they should be able to just get it. Just be like, look, this game needs. I know we said it was going to take 3 years. We're going to do it in 4. I mean, I know they said, yeah, we're going to do it in 4. It's going to take 5 years. We're going to need another year. That should be built into the budget.
Yeah.
Personal opinion. I could be wrong. I'm just some guy. I mean, what the fuck do I know? Um. But
So,
that's how I feel. That's my unpopular. That's my free topic, hot topic, whatever. That's my hot take. I got another hot take. Um, just a quick one. I'm tired of people shitting on games because it didn't meet your expectations.
what do you mean about
Because I've been
that?
playing Saints Row, the reboot. I've been enjoying it.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I just thought it kind of funny that everybody and their mother came out to say how awful Saints Row was, and then it's just like half of y'all probably didn't even play the first 4 Saints Rows. It's like this is you know, a niche game compared to, this is a particularly niche game, and all of a sudden you care about it now. It's like, okay, yeah. Yeah,
They lied to me. They lied. It's like, dude. I mean, is it great? No. But it's not like, oh my god, this game ruined my childhood. I'm like, dude, calm the fuck down.
Yeah, I found it kind of funny. It's like, I mean, nothing was coming out. There wasn't any big releases aside from that game. So it was just
They just wanted a reason to bitch. That's all it was. Like, I just want something to bitch about. And this is the easiest target. Like, sometimes there are legit complaints about games. And sometimes it's just, they just want an excuse to bitch about some shit.
Yeah. And my free topic is, companies need to quit announcing games 2, 3, 4 years out before they're, like, Rise of the Ronin, they did that at Sony's conference, and obviously, Tears of the Kingdom, they announced that like 3, 4 years ago. Like, no, not 4 years, about 3 years ago. And I just get annoyed when companies. I mean, at least with Rise of the Ronin, we got a decent chunk of gameplay footage versus Breath of the Wild.
They were just letting you know they were working on the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of wish at least a year and a half. But I guess I understand if it's like a Metroid 4, which was
No, they were wrong for that too. Because people were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get Metroid Prime 4." I know there are people who bought a Switch just because they thought they were getting Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. They announced that game too early. There was no gameplay. It was just it was just
It was an interactive 3D trailer, 3D poster. They're like, Metroid Prime 4! It's like, well, first of all, I knew it was some bullshit when they said being made by Namco Bandai. I'm like, what the fuck? Why do you have Namco Bandai making a game that they have never made anything like that before?
Yeah.
Like, what asinine person signed off on that? And then it turns out, oh yeah, we're moving this back and we're giving it to Retro, which they should have done in the first fucking place.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy, and I'm kind of like you. I hope it just comes out for their new console. I hope it doesn't come out for the Switch.
Because I can see how poorly shit runs on the Switch, and I'm like, I don't feel comfortable with a franchise that I love. Because I'm gonna keep it real. I love Metroid Prime. It's one of my favorite franchises.
Yeah.
I mean, I really love me some Metroid, okay? Metroid Prime. And I turned around on it because I used to not like Metroid Prime. I was like, how the hell are they going to translate Metroid into a 3D 3D world? And the first Metroid Prime is literally almost a one-for-one redo of Super Metroid in a 3D space. And it suffers because of that. But the other two games, over time, got so much better.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would you mess that up? Well, very easily. Mess it up very easily when people just do shit.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's my own personal opinion. I could be wrong. What do I know?
CGI trailers, obviously those are annoying especially when they come out 2, 3, 4 years ahead of release.
Yeah, because the thing people need to understand is that every Metroid Prime game, like the first Metroid Prime is just basically a redo. Like they took the concept of Super Metroid and put it into 3D. Not really all that revolutionary. I mean, at the time, it's like, wow, it's amazing you did this. But looking back at it, it's like, not surprising. But every other game after that, they went bigger. Metroid Prime 2, you're exploring an entire planet with a duality light world, dark world thing going on. And Metroid Prime 3, multiple planets.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to multiple freaking planets exploring shit, which is cool. Okay? You feel like you're a badass, alright? You feel like you're Billy Badass. And then, I mean, they would have to do a lot. They would have to cut out a lot of stuff on a Metroid Prime 4 if it's on the Switch, because the Switch suffers at doing certain things, like open worlds. Switch suffers at. I heard that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 doesn't run all that well.
No. Sometimes in really heavy, when a lot of action scenes happen, it does dip pretty severely. But yeah, well, who knows? Will they announce new hardware soon? Next year? Probably not.
No, no, they're not. They're not going to do that. Because if they announce new hardware next year, it's going to de-incentivize people buying a Switch now, and they want to sell that hardware and that software.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll see. So, anything else you'd like to bring up before we call it a night?
I just wanted to say that. Just wanted to say. Just wanted to say that. That's it.
All right. Well, this is Kanoshi Abominito here with Project Console episode 46, Hype Grinder. Like to give up your sign off, Mr. Pimp out anything that you're doing?
Yeah, this is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters. BS Busters cast is where we discuss things in gaming that's total and complete BS and why it needs to be brought to people's attention. And then we discuss ways of dealing with it, getting over it, how to mitigate those circumstances. With that being said, this is Mr. Red Fox signing out. Peace.
All right, have a good weekend. Have a good week. Have a good weekend. And have a good life. See you guys later.